You must have had a really deplorable week. What have you been picking up? What have you got for us?
Well, okay, you know, this show, one of the main ideas behind this show is to keep a close eye on virtue signalling and make sure that the correct people are doing the correct virtue signalling at the right time. And I'm pleased to say I'm just going to show you a little clip here of an event that occurred recently in this very studio.
At this desk?
At this very desk with a young man called Peter Fitzsimons, who for reasons best known to himself, and we'll go into that, decided to call a black South African a guerrilla. Let's just have a quick look at that.
If you are touring in a foreign country, you are visitors to their shores, to have your guerrilla throw that guy, and I say guerrilla in the sense of security, you know.
Zunaid Wadi is his name. So,
now, Peter got very, very sort of angsty about having called this black man a guerrilla and spent the rest of the show saying, no, I didn't mean it in any sense. And Andrew Bolt on the Bolt Report picked up this clip and pointed out that Peter Fitzsimons, during the whole incidents with Adam Goodes and the little girl calling Adam Goodes an ape, Peter Fitzsimons was right at the front of saying, you know, how terrible it is, and he went, I paraphrase, but he went so far in one article to say that there is no way you can call a black man a guerrilla without it being racist. No way, he said. He then did the same thing himself. Now, I went on the Andrew Bolt show and said, well, surely in his weekend column, Peter Fitzsimons will obviously say, apologise to the girl and say, look, you know, I jumped to the conclusion, it is clear, obviously from my own experience, it is possible for you to call a black man a gorilla or an ape and for it not to be racist, which is what the little girl said. She always said she had no idea she was being racist. Now, what did Peter Fitzsimons do? He went onto his column and immediately protested that he wasn't racist. No one had accused him of being racist, but this is how the left thinks. He immediately went into overdrive to prove that he wasn't racist. Now, I've always said you can't prove a negative. You can't prove that you're not racist, but he did his darndest. So he told us all about how he went to a Nelson Mandela concert and he protested against apartheid when he was a footballer, and he had dictionary definitions of the word guerrilla to show that this wasn't racist, completely missing the point. And the whole point is that words, you cannot judge thoughts and actions just from words.
Rowan, I'm not going to have a bad word said about Peter Wilkinson. I'm not going to have anything negative said about Peter Wilkinson. In fact, I've been looking up some research here about the big boss in his house, Lisa Wilkinson, who in a Sydney Morning Herald profile a few years ago said, there are days where Pete wishes I wasn't at home and days where I wish he wasn't at home. We regularly want to strangle each other. Now, this is the great working class sort of talk, with all this political correctness about domestic violence. Working people, Lisa Wilkinson, a proud product of Campbelltown out my way. This is great Campbelltown talk. They want to strangle each other and get into it. So they are totally deplorable, and we should welcome that. I mean, this is just fantastic. I've got to say that Lisa and Peter Wilkinson are well and truly back on my Christmas card.
Excellent. Well, I'm pleased about that, because it left me in a slight conundrum, and that is, you know, I met Peter Wilkinson recently, and he's very, very tall, yep. And he's very kind of hairy and deep furrowed brow, and I kind of thought, he reminds me of someone. He definitely reminds me of someone. And I thought, I know who it is. He reminds me of Chewbacca, the guy, the Wookiee from Star Wars. Just have a look, see if you agree with me.
Well, he's got no red bandana.
Well, he does on the side. It's just sitting behind him. And then now see if you can spot the resemblance. Now, this left me with a philosophical conundrum, Ross, that you might be able to help us with. If it's racist to call a footballer an ape,
yes,
is it racist or speciest to call a footballer a Wookiee?
Well, look, one of the reasons why I object to all of this denouncing of people who refer to others as apes and gorillas is because the primate family's got to stick together. I mean, there's only a few of us left, let's be honest, and the truth is that, you know, we share about 98.7% of our DNA with the orangutan. Indeed, our nearest neighbour is the bonobo, from whom we're virtually inseparable. And, you know, scientists actually sort of sort of speculate about whether there could be a fertile relationship between the two. We are so close. So I just believe that the primates have got to stick together, and in the same way I'm going to come to the defence of witches, who have been very, very badly maligned by the left, in the same way the apes, the gorillas, the chimpanzees, the bonobos and the humans, we are tight. We've got to support each other.
God bless the Wilkinsons.